You've won 6 out of your last 8 games. That was before going 8 games without a win. Does it feel like there's a real feel-good factor around the place at the moment?
Sure, when you win games, it's always a good environment, a good atmosphere. So we are grateful that it's like this. But of course, it's hard work. We have to keep going. We have to keep the momentum. We have to understand why we have this momentum. We have to keep doing the basic things, and hopefully we can keep it.
You're currently 9th in the Premier League, 4 points off the top 4. Does it feel like the charge for Europe is very much back on?
I never look that much on the table, because in the end we can only influence our games. We can only influence how we play, and in the end of the season then we can look at the table. But at the moment it's really game by game, trying to get the best performance out of the guys, trying to improve in our development individually and as a group, and that's what we are looking at the moment.
Obviously it's been a really positive season. This club has been going from strength to strength. Would it feel like at this stage, as you enter the final phase of the season, if you weren't to get European football, it would be a failure?
I would say that the key thing from this club is always about developing young players, developing the group. When we started this season, is more that we had a lot of new signings, new changes, so it was more about getting the right culture, getting to identify what is important for the group, and then really try to build the spirit from Brighton, because that's what always makes a club strong, this togetherness, the spirit, the values that represents this club, and therefore we really try to manage the change. And now it's about, of course, having internal goals, internal visions where we want to go. That's for sure. But in the end, we're really looking on our development, on the individual development from the players and as a group, and then we will see what happens in the end of the season. But I think at the moment it's too early to talk about failure if we don't achieve the Europes, and I think we have to wait for the right time to talk about this, and at the moment it's not the right time for that.
Short turnaround for the next Premier League game, Bournemouth up next. What's the Brighton team news? Have you got any players you're welcoming back, or any you're concerned about?
I'm still concerned about Joel, concerned about Danny, and therefore we have to wait how the training will go today, and then we can make a decision. But these two are still doubtful.
Won't be available for the Bournemouth game.
Doubtful means I don't know how the training will go today, so we have to wait the training session today, and then we can decide what we will do. But in the end, we have an important match again on Sunday, so we won't take any risk, and that's what we try to looking at today.
Obviously, Bournemouth up next, a side that have probably been one of the surprise packages in the Premier League. They've had an exceptional season. For you as a head coach, when you're designing a game plan to try and beat an Andoni Raiola side who can be so unpredictable, how difficult is that?
Of course, it's difficult to create a match plan against them, but it's difficult against any opponent, because everyone has their strengths. Everyone has an own idea, an own style of play, and of course individual quality. I think Bournemouth, they are quite clear in their style of play. They play very intense. I think that's the team with the highest high speed meters, with the highest sprint meters in the league, together with Tottenham and Newcastle. So it will be a challenge for us to compete against them. We have to be mentally and physically on the highest level to be ready for them, and that's what we're trying to looking at. But I think that we are able to do it, because we proved it in the last weeks. We're also physical ready. We can run a lot, we can fight a lot, and there we have to push our limits. We have to keep the standards we had in the last weeks, and we have to improve to be ready for the challenge against Bournemouth.
Is it always difficult to come up against sides that transition so quickly with pace, and they have so many players that are quick and powerful with the ball? Does that make it more of a challenging game for you?
It's a different approach. So, like I said, every other team has also different strengths in their team. So, of course, we know that Bournemouth is very fast, very athletic, especially with the front, with Semenyo, with Kluivert, with Utara, with Brooks if he's playing. So, they're all fast, all athletic, all very good in transition. But in the end, it's about trying to control the game, trying to don't give them their strength, and trying to avoid these transition moments. Of course, not everything will be possible to avoid, but there are some patterns where we can avoid them. And in the end, it's also about reaction. So when we lose the ball, we have to react as a team. We have to react as individuals. We have to be good in counter pressing. We have to be good in all phases to beat them. We know that, and we have to be ready for that.
And just finally, how much of a statement win would this be if you were to win? A team above you in the table, a team that are also trying to get into Europe, and of course a small local rivalry as well. It could be a really important, poignant moment as you enter the final phase of the season.
I would see it more as a confirmation for us that we have to prove ourselves, that we can keep the standards, that we can keep and push the limits we achieved in the last week. So I wouldn't say it would be a statement. I would say more it's a confirmation for ourselves. It's a confirmation for us as individuals, for us as a group, how far we are in our development, and therefore we have to prove it ourselves, and that's our responsibility, and that's our job tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. A lot is made of Bournemouth's attack, the pace, the intensity, the press they put on. How impressed have you been with them defensively, and how much are they going to miss Ilya Zabani?
I don't know how much they will miss him. I think that's not my job to comment this player. But in the end, we know that they are very intense out of possession, that they play very man-oriented, a little bit similar to Southampton. We will see if they come man-to-man. We will see if they give us a +1 in the build-up. So that's the thing where we have to adapt in the right moment, where we have to be ready and finding solutions. And then it's about being ready for this intensity. And you have to be ready for this intensity mentally, but also physically. And that's the main thing. I think this will be the key in this match, to not be surprised how aggressive they will be, not be surprised how intense they will be, and to get an answer, or to have an answer for all these things.
Both teams were in a very different place when you met at the Vitality Stadium, but what was the key to winning that day? Was it those things you mentioned there?
I think exactly was the thing. We were ready to fight, because in the end it was a fight. It was very intense, it was very physical. We knew that, we were ready for that. Unfortunately, we received a red card, and then it was only about defending and staying compact together. But especially in the first half, we struggled a little bit with finding solutions in possession. I think there we have to improve this game. So we knew, or we know also, that it will be intense, that they will be very aggressive in the high pressure. So it's our game to find solutions in possession. It's our game to play also with courage out from the back, because in the end it's our style of play, and therefore we have to improve in comparison with the first game. But how we defended was quite successful. So therefore we knew what we will have to do to win this match.
Is there any chance of Lewis Dunk being back for this one?
No, there's no chance.
Purvis came on for half an hour or so. Is he pushing for a start, or is it too soon for that?
Yeah, he will be an option for the starting line.
Joao Pedro grabbed lots of headlines with his performance at the weekend. I think it was only his second goal since November, but the way he finished was a player who's clearly very confident in where his game is and things. Have you noticed that sort of wait for goal has affected him at all, or has he just always been very sure and confident?
I think Joao is a player who always has a little bit of self-confidence, who has this attitude inside of him that he knows I can decide a game with one action, and he has not only this thinking, he also has the quality and the skills to do this, and he proved it the last weekend. But beside that, for me, it's more important how he behaves as a team player, and he proved it the last week that he really was supportive with his teammates. Although he was not starting, he was always there for his teammates. He supported them, and that showed me that he's really committed to this club. He showed me that he really supports and wants to be that team player everyone needs from him, and therefore I'm really happy that he now came back on the pitch and deserves what he get because of his behavior, because of his training ethic the last weeks, and of course also because of his quality.
You had a big chat with him over with the fans as the celebrations were happening at the end of the game on Saturday. Was it that sort of thing you were talking to him about, reiterating that, how well he'd done?
No, I'm always in touch with my players, trying to give them feedback, trying to listen to them, trying to understand what are their thoughts, their convincements about the game. Because in the end, it's always important to also understand and learn from them how they see a game, how they behaved in the game, what they recognized in the game. Because in the end, they feel it on the pitch. We only see it from the sideline. We can only observe a little bit from the sideline. But in the end, they have a feeling on the pitch how things stick together, how the relationship was with my teammate, and therefore I'm really interested in their feeling and their convincement after the game, how they felt. And on top of that, there are also some small talks about their thoughts afterwards, how they felt personal, how they felt after the goal. So I think it's also important to understand their needs and their wishes. So in overall, it's always a consistently exchange, I would say, no matter to which time. Is it close after the game? Is it before the game? Is it today? I think it's very important to build this relationship.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Fabian, it happened earlier in the season. You were without your captain, Lewis Dunk. How pleased are you with the seamless way that Adam Webster and Jan-Paul van Hekke have built a partnership in his absence? It's not easy in the Premier League defensively to do.
Yeah, especially Adam. So Adam, I never saw a player who has this attitude. No matter how many circumstances, bad experience he had, he always continued this season. No matter how many setbacks he had by injuries, he always was there for his teammate. He always worked hard to be back on the pitch as quick as possible. So that's a special character side. And now we are really happy that he's there to help us. We are really happy that he builds this relationship together with JP, Jean-Paul van Hekke. And I think especially the last games, they find each other. They are good leaders, they are talkers, they are the voice on the pitch, and so it's very helpful for us. So hopefully they can continue this relationship and improving their behavior by the details.
What about the character of Carlos Baleba? Obviously it was a difficult experience for him against Bournemouth earlier in the season. But do you think he learnt from that experience? And what about the way, because he's been pretty much a constant in your side ever since?
So Carlos, he came a lot of times after he received the yellow and then the red card against Bournemouth, a lot of times into this situation where he had already a yellow card, and I saw a development, I saw a learning in his behavior afterwards. So he behaved much more mature, he behaved much more professional after his first yellow card, and he understand how to behave and how to play if I already have a yellow card. And there I see a really good improvement in these things. And on top of that, of course, he's an unbelievable player for us. He has skills no one has in this team. He's very athletic, not only in possession he can give us by his dynamic, also out of possession he's very important to close the gaps. But like I said, it's now so important to stay humble for him, to stay grounded, because there's still so many things he can improve, so many things where he didn't reach his limit yet. So when we just focus on the physical data, he's, for me, still not there that he's running enough for a number 6. Of course, he does a lot of high-speed meter, but I think in general he can cover more distance, and therefore we'll try to work hard on these things with him, and then I'm sure that he will improve and will be a very, very important player for us.
And in terms of that game, do you expect a very similar encounter against Bournemouth this time around? I mean, I think only Liverpool have scored more goals away from home than the Cherries this season. So are you expecting a similar kind of, I know you had to play with 10 men for a period of that game, but something similar again tomorrow?
Yeah, I think there will come very aggressive, high pressure all the time, intensity over the whole pitch, a lot of personal duels because of their man-orientated behavior, a lot of transition moments, a lot of turnovers. So we have to be very fast in our head. We have to be fast in our reactions, and therefore we always have to be awake that no transition moment can hurt us.